Hey listener, ready to talk about some seriously fast planes?
Sounds exciting.
We're going deep into the world of aviation today. Specifically, the fastest planes on Earth, as of 2024.
Okay.
Our roadmap for this deep dive is an article from a website called Aviation A to Z.
Makes sense. They cover, well, pretty much everything aviation.
Exactly. And they've compiled this awesome list of the top 15 fastest aircraft.
Yeah.
But we're not just going to, list them off.
Right.
We're going to uncover some pretty amazing facts and stories behind these record-breaking machines. I think you're going to be surprised by some of them.
I think so too. You know, it's really interesting when we talk about the fastest planes. We're not just talking miles per hour anymore.
Right.
We're talking Mach numbers.
Multiples at the speed of sound.
Yeah, so get ready, because things are about to get sonic.
Okay, so to set the stage, let's do a quick flyby of this top 15 list. Ready for some variety?
Hit me.
We've got military jets, experimental aircraft that seem straight out of a sci-fi movie,
Yeah.
and even some familiar names if you're a Top Gun fan.
It really is a diverse list. We've got the North American X-15, for example. That's a rocket-powered plane from the 1960s.
Oh, wow.
Then there are more modern marvels like the Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor. That's a stealth fighter jet that's still in service today.
Right, and don't forget the classics, like the MiG-25 Foxbat, a Cold War-era interceptor that could reach speeds of over Mach 3.
Oh, yeah. A true speed demon.
And of course, no list of fast planes would be complete without the legendary SR-71 Blackbird, a spy plane that could outrun missiles.
It's amazing to think about the different goals that each plane on this list represents. Some were designed for pure speed, while others prioritized maneuverability, stealth, or range.
Okay, let's zoom in on the undisputed champion of speed, the NASA X-43.
Yeah.
It achieved an incredible Mach 9.6.
Oh!
That translates to over 7,000 miles per hour. Think about it. That's like crossing the entire U.S. in less than an hour.
That's mind-boggling. Can you imagine the forces involved at that speed?
I can't even imagine.
That's one reason the X-43 wasn't a typical plane with a pilot. It was unmanned, basically a hypersonic drone.
Oh, that makes sense.
Right. The force and heat at those speeds would be incredibly dangerous for a human to withstand.
And to reach that insane speed, it used a special type of engine called a scramjet,
Right. It's essentially a jet engine, but way more powerful.
like a jet engine on steroids.
Exactly. Instead of carrying oxygen on board, it scoops up and compresses the air in front of it at supersonic speeds and uses that for combustion.
So it's kind of like it's breathing in the air as it's flying?
That's a great way to put it. The scramjet allows for much higher speeds and fuel efficiency than traditional jet engines.
So it's a glimpse into the future of hypersonic flight.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the X-43 is the king of unmanned speed. But what about the fastest plane ever piloted by a human?
That honor goes to the legendary North American X-15. It hit an incredible Mach 6.72, over 4,500 miles per hour.
Wow.
It was a rocket-powered experimental aircraft developed in the 1950s. And it wasn't just about speed, it was also about altitude.
And this is where things get really interesting. Pilots who flew the X-15 above 50 miles actually earned astronaut wings.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, because at that altitude, they were essentially touching the edge of space.
Exactly, blurring the lines between plane and spacecraft.
So cool. The X-15 was crucial in helping us understand the challenges of hypersonic flight within the atmosphere.
Right. Yeah. It provided data that was used in the design of future spacecraft, like the space shuttle.
Okay, so we've covered the two absolute speed demons at the top. Holding strong at number 3 is a plane you might recognize, especially if you like classic spy movies.
Let me guess, the SR-71 Blackbird.
You got it. Well, not the fastest. The Blackbird is legendary for its combination of speed, altitude, and stealth.
Right. It was developed during the Cold War mainly for reconnaissance missions. It could actually outrun missiles.
Just imagine being chased by a missile and your plane is simply too fast to catch. Talk about spy plane vibes.
It could soar to altitudes of over 85,000 feet, practically untouchable by enemy defenses.
To achieve those capabilities, it was constructed from a special titanium alloy to withstand the heat generated at those speeds.
Right. And it was coated with a special paint that absorbed radar signals, making it incredibly hard to detect.
That's unbelievable. We're talking about engineering that was almost unimaginable back then.
It really was ahead of its time.
The Blackbird wasn't designed for combat, but its speed and altitude capabilities made it a powerful deterrent during the Cold War.
It's a perfect example of how technological prowess can be just as powerful as military might. The Blackbird showed the world that speed and stealth could completely change the game.
Okay, so we've got this crazy experimental plane, the X-43, which is basically a rocket with wings, And then we have the Blackbird, which
Oh.
was operational for decades and had a huge real-world impact.
It's amazing to see how these planes, despite their differences, both represent that human drive to push the limits of what we thought was possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And speaking of pushing limits,
Yeah.
let's talk about a plane that's still very much in service today, and in a very active theater, no less, the Mikoyan MiG-31 Foxhound.
Ah, the Foxhound, a formidable interceptor developed by the Soviets.
And it's being used in the conflict in Ukraine.
Right, which shows us that these high-speed machines are still incredibly relevant in modern warfare.
The Foxhound is a reminder that while technology is constantly evolving, the fundamentals of air power remain constant. Speed, altitude, and firepower are still decisive factors.
Absolutely.
And when we say high speed, we mean it. This thing can climb at a rate of over 680 feet per second.
Per second.
Yes. To put that into perspective, that's like climbing almost 2 Eiffel Towers every second.
Wow, that's incredible. Why did it need to climb so fast?
To intercept high-altitude threats, like you guessed it, the SR-71 Blackbird.
Ah, it's like a high-stakes game of chess played out in the skies. The U.S. develops a plane that can fly higher and faster than anything else, and the Soviets develop a plane to catch it.
So listener, what's jumping out at you so far? We've gone from an experimental plane that's basically a rocket with wings, to a spy plane that could outrun missiles, to a fighter jet that's involved in a modern conflict.
And we're just getting started.
It's amazing, right?
What's clear is that the pursuit of speed in aviation is about so much more than just breaking records or bragging about who has the fastest plane.
Right.
It's about advancing technology, pushing the limits of what's aerodynamically possible, and ultimately shaping the very future of flight.
Okay, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll continue our exploration of the fastest planes in the world. Okay, we're back and ready to continue our supersonic journey through the fastest planes on Earth.
All right, let's do it.
Now, we've talked about the big names, the ones that immediately come to mind. But this top 15 list also features some fascinating, lesser-known aircraft, each with its own cool story.
It's like a hidden treasure trove of aviation history, you know.
I like that analogy.
For instance, there's the Mikoyan Gurevich MiG-25. It's nicknamed the Foxbat, a Soviet interceptor that could actually rival the SR-71 Blackbird in terms of top speed. It could hit Mach 3.2.
Wait, really?
So.
Another plane that could reach those Blackbird speeds? I had no idea. Tell me more about this Foxbat.
Well, the Foxbat was designed back in the 1960s. During the Cold War, the Soviets were worried about the American XB-70 Valkyrie. It was this massive bomber that was supposed to fly at Mach 3. They needed something that could intercept it.
It sounds like a real-life aerial chess match, each side trying to outmaneuver and outpace the other.
Exactly. The Foxbat was known for its incredible speed and could operate at extremely high altitudes. But it wasn't perfect. They used a lot of stainless steel in its construction, which made it incredibly heavy.
I think I read somewhere that some pilots even joked that it flew more like a rocket than a plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some truth to that. But despite its weight, it was a powerful symbol of Soviet technological prowess during the Cold War. It showed that they could compete with the U.S. in this high-stakes game of speed and altitude.
Okay, so speaking of the XB-70 Valkyrie, this thing looks like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. I mean, it has these massive delta wings that could actually fold down at supersonic speeds. It's like a futuristic bird of prey.
The Valkyrie was a hugely ambitious project. It was envisioned as a high-altitude supersonic bomber that could penetrate Soviet airspace at speeds exceeding Mach 3. It was a marvel of engineering for its time.
But there's a bit of a sad ending to the story.
Okay.
Didn't it never actually see operational service?
You're right. The program was canceled in the mid-1960s. There were several reasons, including changing strategic priorities and growing concerns about its vulnerability to surface-to-air missiles. It was becoming clear that even a plane as fast as the Valkyrie could be brought down if it was detected.
So even though it never really took off, so to speak, it still must have had a big impact on aviation.
Absolutely. It pushed the boundaries of what people thought was possible in aircraft design, and it influenced the development of later supersonic bombers, like the Rockwell B-1B Lancer, which we see in service today.
It's a great example of how technological advancement isn't always linear. Sometimes political decisions or even budget constraints can ground even the most innovative designs.
It's true. Now let's shift gears and talk about an aircraft that shares some lineage with the SR-71, the Lockheed YF-12.
The YF-12. It's like the Blackbird's lesser-known but equally impressive sibling.
The YF-12 actually predates the SR-71. It was originally designed as a high-speed interceptor capable of taking down enemy bombers before they could reach their targets.
So it's basically a Blackbird with teeth.
Exactly. It shared that sleek black design and could fly at speeds over Mach 3. The main difference was that the YF-12 was armed with air-to-air missiles. It was a true interceptor, designed to eliminate airborne threats.
But like the Valkyrie, the YF-12 program never really got off the ground.
Unfortunately, you're right. The program was canceled due to budget cuts and changing defense priorities. It's a reminder that even the most impressive technological achievements are sometimes subject to the realities of politics and economics.
It makes you think, right? All this incredible engineering and innovation.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the fate of these planes often comes down to factors that have nothing to do with their actual capabilities.
That's a great point. Now let's talk about a plane that's been a real workhorse for decades and is still considered one of the most capable fighter jets in the world, the McDonnell Douglas F-15 Eagle.
The F-15. This one's been in service for over 40 years and has seen action and conflicts all over the globe. It's amazing to think about all the changes in technology since the F-15 first took to the skies back in 1972.
It's flown in the skies over the Middle East, Europe, and Asia, and it's still regarded as one of the most successful fighter aircraft ever built.
It's crazy to think about how much technology has changed since then, and yet it's still right up there with the best of them.
It can fly at speeds of up to Mach 2.5. It has a remarkable combat record and is known for its incredible maneuverability.
That's impressive. And what's even more remarkable is that the F-15 has never been lost in air-to-air combat.
That's right. It speaks volumes about its design, its capabilities, and the skill of the pilots who fly it.
That's a truly impressive track record. Now, for another plane that's often compared to the F-15 and has been making headlines in recent years, the Sukhoi Su-27 Flanker.
The Flanker, a Russian fighter jet known for its incredible agility and powerful armament.
And didn't a Flanker recently down a U.S. drone over the Black Sea?
You're right. That incident highlighted the Flanker's capabilities and the ongoing tension between Russia and the West. It also brings up a crucial question. What does the future hold for these high-speed machines in a world that's rapidly changing?
It's a big question. On one hand, we're seeing incredible advancements in drones and unmanned systems. Some experts believe that piloted fighter jets could eventually become obsolete.
But on the other hand, there's a lot to be said for the human element in aerial combat. The ability to make split-second decisions and adapt to unpredictable situations is something that, at least for now, can't be replicated by a machine.
Right. And let's not forget the importance of these high-speed aircraft in reconnaissance and surveillance.
Absolutely. The ability to gather intelligence quickly and efficiently is crucial in modern warfare. And aircraft like the SR-71 and its potential successor, the SR-72, are still incredibly valuable in that regard.
Speaking of reconnaissance, let's talk about the Mikoyan Gurevich MiG-23, nicknamed the Flogger, a Soviet-era jet that was also known for its spy capabilities.
The Flogger was interesting because it was what we call a variable geometry aircraft. That means its wings could sweep back or forward depending on the speed and maneuverability needed. It made it very versatile.
So kind of like a transformer of the skies.
Yeah,
It could change its shape depending on the mission.
that's a great way to put it. The Flogger was designed to handle various roles, including intercepting enemy aircraft, attacking ground targets, and conducting reconnaissance missions.
Sounds like he was trying to do a lot. Was it good at all of it?
It was a capable aircraft, but it also had a reputation for being a bit challenging to fly. Some pilots even said it was unstable at high speeds. It acquired a few less than flattering nicknames over the years.
Yikes. I bet those nicknames wouldn't exactly inspire confidence in a pilot. But regardless, the Flogger still played a significant role in the Soviet Air Force for many years, and it was exported to a number of countries around the world.
Okay, let's move on to a plane that needs no introduction, especially if you've seen the movie Top Gun. It's the Grumman F-14 Tomcat.
Ah, the Tomcat. That iconic fighter jet with those signature swept wings. It was a mainstay of the U.S. Navy for over 3 decades, and thanks to Top Gun, it became synonymous with speed, power, and those breathtaking aerial acrobatics.
The Tomcat was designed for one primary purpose: to defend the fleet from enemy aircraft at long ranges. It had a powerful radar system and long-range missiles, making it a truly formidable opponent in the skies.
And like the Flogger, it had variable sweep wings, so it could operate effectively at both high and low speeds, making it a very versatile aircraft.
It was a sad day for aviation enthusiasts when the Tomcat was retired in 2006. It was just a true icon of its time.
It's amazing how some planes transcend their technical specifications and become cultural icons.
Yeah.
I think the Tomcat definitely falls into that category.
Okay, so far we've mainly talked about American and Soviet aircraft, but other countries have made significant contributions to high-speed aviation. Take, for instance, the Israel Aerospace Industries, KFIR. The KFIR is a great example of how a nation can take existing technology and adapt it to meet its specific needs. It's actually based on the French Dassault Mirage 5 fighter jet, But the Israelis made a number of modifications to improve its avionics and weapons systems.
So it's like they took a good design and made it even better.
Exactly. The Kfir has seen action in numerous conflicts in the Middle East and has proven to be a highly capable and versatile aircraft. It really highlights the ingenuity and adaptability of Israeli aerospace engineering.
And then, of course, we have the plane that often tops the list when people talk about the most advanced fighter jet in the world, the Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor.
The Raptor is truly in a class of its own. It's a fifth-generation fighter jet, which means it incorporates cutting-edge technologies that were unheard of just a few decades ago. Stealth technology, supercruise capability, and advanced avionics.
For those who might not be familiar, could you explain what you mean by stealth technology and supercruise capability?
Of course. Stealth technology refers to the Raptor's ability to evade radar detection. It has a special shape and radar-absorbent materials that make it incredibly difficult for enemy radar systems to pick it up.
So it's like a ghost in the sky.
Exactly. And supercruise capability means that the Raptor can sustain supersonic speeds without having to use its afterburner. This gives it a significant advantage in terms of range and endurance. Most fighter jets can only achieve supersonic speeds for short bursts using their afterburners, which guzzle fuel. The Raptor can cruise at supersonic speeds for extended periods, making it much more efficient and stealthy.
Wow. It sounds almost unfair to other fighter jets.
Well, it was designed to be a game changer. The F-22 was meant to dominate the skies, and in many ways it does, but it's also incredibly expensive. That's one of the reasons why its production numbers have been limited.
That makes sense. Building and maintaining a fleet of these technological marvels must come at a steep price.
Absolutely. Now, before we move on to the final aircraft on our list, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier about the increasing role of drones in warfare.
Oh, right. We were talking about how some people believe that piloted fighter jets might eventually be replaced by unmanned systems.
Yes. And while there's certainly a trend towards greater reliance on drones, I think it's important to remember that technology is only one part of the equation. The human element will always be crucial in warfare, especially in complex and unpredictable situations.
You're right. Even with all the advancements in artificial intelligence and autonomous systems, there's still no replacement for human judgment, intuition, and adaptability.
I agree. And while drones have proven to be very effective in certain roles, such as surveillance and targeted strikes, they're not yet capable of replicating the full range of capabilities that a piloted fighter jet offers.
So it seems like we're heading towards a future where piloted aircraft and unmanned systems will likely work together, each playing to their strengths.
That seems to be the most likely scenario. Okay, let's wrap up our supersonic journey with a plane that's a true veteran of the skies. It's the McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom II.
The Phantom, another Cold War icon that's seen action in conflicts around the world.
The Phantom was designed as a multi-role fighter bomber, which means it could handle both air-to-air combat and ground attack missions. It served in the U.S. Air Force and Navy for decades, and was also exported to numerous countries.
It's impressive how long it remained in service. It must have been a reliable and adaptable aircraft.
It was us. The Phantom was known for its ruggedness, its versatility, and its powerful radar system. It could operate from aircraft carriers, airfields, and even rough forward operating bases.
So it's kind of the ultimate all-rounder. A true workhorse of the skies.
That's a great way to describe it. The Phantom is a testament to the engineering excellence of the era and the importance of adaptability in military aircraft design. It was a plane that could handle just about any mission thrown at it.
All right, listener. We've covered a lot of ground here, haven't we? We've gone from experimental hypersonic aircraft to Cold War icons to modern-day fighter jets and everything in between.
It's been quite a journey through the history of aviation with speed as our guiding star. But as we've seen, the pursuit of speed is about much more than just bragging rights. It's about pushing the boundaries of technology, exploring the limits of what's aerodynamically possible, and ultimately shaping the future of flight itself.
It's fascinating to see how these planes not only reflect technological advancements, but also the geopolitical landscape of their time. The Cold War in particular was a period of intense competition and innovation in aviation, as both the U.S. and the Soviet Union sought to outdo each other in the skies.
And even though the Cold War is over, the legacy of that era continues to shape the world of aviation today. Many of the planes we've talked about were designed during that period, and their descendants are still flying today.
It really highlights how the pursuit of speed in aviation is deeply intertwined with the history of warfare, espionage, and the constant human drive to innovate.
And as technology continues to advance at an ever-accelerating pace, It's exciting to think about what the future holds for aviation. What new breakthroughs await us? What new speed records will be broken? And what new aircraft will grace the skies in the years to come?
Those are some great questions.
Uh-huh.
It makes me wonder, listener, what do you envision for the future of aviation? Will we see even faster planes, maybe even hypersonic passenger jets that could whisk us across the globe in a matter of hours? Or will we see entirely new forms of air travel emerge, something we can't even imagine yet?
It's an exciting time to be alive, that's for sure. And if there's one thing we've learned from this deep dive into the world of fast planes, it's that the sky is truly the limit when it comes to human ingenuity and innovation.
I love that. And with that, listener, we've reached the end of our journey today. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of the fastest planes on Earth. If you're hungry for more aviation adventures, be sure to check out Aviation A to Z. They've got a wealth of information on all things flight, from the history of aviation to the latest technological advancements. Until next time, keep your eyes on the skies and never stop exploring the wonders of our world. Man, what a ride. We really went from zero to Mach in no time flat.
We covered a lot of ground, that's for sure.
Seriously, we've talked about everything from crazy experimental aircraft to the planes that are the backbone of modern military aviation. It's incredible. Before we wrap up, though, I want to hear your take on what all this means for the future.
You know, it's easy to get lost in the sheer coolness of these machines. The speed, the power, the incredible engineering behind them.
Right. I mean, some of these planes look like they're straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Exactly. But for me, the bigger takeaway is the human element behind it all.
It's that drive to push the limits of what's possible.
Right.
To go farther, faster, higher.
Yes. These planes are a testament to our relentless curiosity and our desire to explore the unknown. That's what I find truly inspiring. Whether it's breaking the sound barrier or reaching for the stars, it's that human spirit that keeps pushing us forward.
And that spirit of innovation is what drives progress, not just in aviation, but in everything we do.
Absolutely. Think about it. The technology that was developed to create these supersonic aircraft has had a huge impact on countless other industries.
Oh, I totally agree.
From material science to computer engineering, the quest for faster planes has advanced our understanding of the world and led to breakthroughs that benefit us all.
So it's not just about building faster planes, it's about the knowledge and the innovation that comes along with it.
Exactly. And as we look ahead, that's what I find most exciting. What new discoveries are out there waiting for us?
Right. What new speed records will be broken? What new aircraft will we see?
Will we one day be able to travel across the globe in a matter of hours? Will we finally unlock the secrets of hypersonic flight? It's an exciting time to be alive. And to witness this evolution of flight.
I'm with you on that. It really makes you wonder, listener. What do you think the future holds for aviation? What incredible aircraft will we see in the years to come? And how will those advancements shape the world?
It's definitely something to think about.
Well, that about does it for our deep dive into the fastest planes on Earth today.
I had a great time.
Me too, listener. We hope you enjoyed this whirlwind tour of aviation history. If you want to keep exploring this fascinating world, be sure to check out Aviation A to Z. They've got a wealth of information on all things flight. And who knows? Maybe someday we'll be talking about your groundbreaking aviation innovation on this show.
That would be amazing.
Until then, keep your eyes on the skies and never stop exploring the wonders of our world.